Treasurer Jim Chalmers has waded into territory he's been at pains to avoid, criticising the Reserve Bank, saying it is smashing the economy.
Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers has done something we haven't really seen from him before. He's had a crack at the Reserve Bank. Here with more is federal politics reporter Dan Jervis-Barty. So Dan, can you give us some perspective here? What approach has Dr Chalmers previously taken with the RBA and its role on the economy?
So whenever the Treasurer or really any senior minister in the Labor government is asked about the Reserve Bank and the decision that it's made, particularly on interest rates, is to basically not weigh in. Their first response is always, we respect the independence of the Reserve Bank. We don't instruct the Reserve Bank on what decisions it should make. We don't second guess the decisions that they make. And that is really to, respecting that the RBA is an independent institution that has a different role to government. And that's been quite consistent really since Labor was elected in 2022. We know that there was one rate rise during the election campaign and then a whole series of rate increases after that. And really throughout that period, the government has bit their tongue. I'm sure at times they've wanted to come out swinging, but they've bit their tongue by and large and made sure that they respect the independence of the bank.
Yeah, I'm sure they might have been saying a few things under their breath, but certainly nothing publicly. And so what did Chalmers have to say this morning?
So if we sort of take a step back here, the context is that on Wednesday, the ABS is going to release figures on GDP for the June quarter, and all expectations is that that's going to show that the economy is growing really slowly. I think there are predictions for a 0.2% increase, so really anemic growth. And in a sort of an attempt to prepare the public for those numbers, Jim Chalmers put out a statement yesterday just trying to sort of say, look, these are the factors that are going to explain that figure that we see on Wednesday. And he made the phrase, as you described, he said, along with sort of global volatility, we've got an economy that's being smashed by interest rates. And obviously the RBA is the ones that are responsible for interest rates. So that comment, him attributing some of the economic problems to the impact of interest rates has certainly got people talking and certainly got people talking about where is that boundary between the government getting involved and sort of intervening in the RBA, or at least in the way that they're commenting on it.
Yeah, it does seem like a pretty dramatic about face. Do you see Chalmers making comments like this if the government weren't struggling in the polls and generally having a pretty tough go of it at the moment?
It's a good question. I mean, the response from the Treasurer's office to some of the reporting has been interesting. They've been very adamant to sort of say this hasn't been a shift in language or in position. They've wanted to maintain that the Treasurer sort of has been commenting for the last few months about the impact that rate increases are having on the economy as a whole. But it is interesting, like you said, it comes in the context of polling that shows things are neck and neck. We obviously know that households in the economy households generally are struggling, and it's a political challenge for the government. They need to be able to show that they're empathetic to the concerns of voters, and they're almost in a position, I think, where they would feel, look, if we're not acknowledging the impact of rate rises, then we're not being honest. So it puts them in a difficult position. How they play it going forward is going to be really interesting. But we've seen that colourful language, and the Treasurer was reiterating it again this morning. So he's certainly not backing down.
Yeah, and let's see what happens when that economy data comes out from the ABS on Wednesday, and a bit more damage control might be required from the government. Dan Jervis-Barty, we always appreciate having you on the Nightly Five.
Thanks, mate.